All right, let's just paint a picture here. The absolute worst has happened. The world you knew is gone, and you've just been shot. There's no 911, no ambulance is screaming its way towards you. It's a terrifying thought, but in this world, knowing what to do next is the only thing that matters.
And that's it, right? The world just shrinks down to that one single catastrophic fact. Your vision is starting to go fuzzy at the edges, and the bleeding, it's not slowing down.
And that's really what this is all about. In this scenario, the hospital is a pile of rubble. The only first responder is you. The stakes could not possibly be higher, but that doesn't mean it's a hopeless situation. Far from it.
Okay, let's get our heads straight. The situation is bad, no doubt about it. But the human body is an incredible machine. If you can keep that panic from boiling over and just follow a few clear steps, you might just plug that leak long enough to see tomorrow.
This is it. This is the question that matters more than anything else in this moment. Before you even think about infection, before you worry about where the bullet is, you have one job, and one job only.
Everything comes down to this. You are literally in a race against your own body, and every single second is critical. The goal is dead simple. Keep the blood inside of you. Okay, so let's walk through this. It's simple, but there is one mistake you absolutely cannot make. Grab a t-shirt, a bandana, whatever you've got. Fold it, put it on the wound, and press down like you mean it. If you can, get that limb up in the air. But here's the crucial part. If that cloth soaks through with blood, you add more on top. Do not, under any circumstances, rip that first layer off. If you do, you're tearing away the life-saving clot your body is working so hard to form. You're right back at square one.
Now you've got to read the room, so to speak. If the blood is dark red and it's just flowing, direct pressure might do the trick. But if you see this, bright red blood, pulsing or even spraying out with every heartbeat, you've hit an artery. Think of it like a busted radiator hose. Direct pressure isn't going to cut it. You have to escalate, and you have to do it now.
And that escalation is the tourniquet. This thing can save your life, but you have to use the right materials. You need something wide, at least an inch, maybe two. A belt, a strip torn off your jeans, that works. What doesn't work? A shoelace, a piece of wire, anything thin. That stuff will act like a cheese slicer, cutting right through your muscle, your nerves, doing way more harm than good.
So here's how you do it. You wrap it a few inches above the wound, between the injury and your heart. Tie a simple knot, then slide something rigid under it. A thick stick, a sturdy pen, anything like that. And then you start to twist. And let me tell you, it is going to hurt. A lot. But that intense pain is how you know it's working. You keep twisting until that bright red spray slows to a trickle, and then stops completely. But you have to remember, a tourniquet is a ticking clock. You've got about 2 hours before that lack of blood flow starts killing off tissue for good. So you need to mark the time you put it on. Write it on their forehead, on their arm, wherever it's visible. This is not a long-term fix. It's a desperate move to buy you time to deal with what's next.
Okay, deep breath. The immediate crisis is handled. You've stopped the massive blood loss. But the fight is not over. Not even close. Now you have to stop an infection from finishing the job that the bullet started. Your goal here is to flush out all the junk, dirt, bits of fabric, whatever, that the bullet dragged in with it. Here are your best options. In order. Boiled water that's been cooled down is perfect. But honestly, in a pinch, even regular old tap water is way better than nothing. You want to pour a good, steady stream into the wound to really wash it out. Now, see, a bullet wound isn't just a clean cut. It's a cavity. It's a tunnel. And to stop any bleeding that might still be happening inside, and to help your body start healing, you have to fill that empty space. It's called packing the wound. Here's the deal. You take the cleanest cloth you can find, and you start gently feeding it into the wound. Start at the absolute deepest part. The source material had this grimly memorable way of putting it. You're stuffing a tiny, horrifying turkey. You're just layering the material in to create pressure from the inside out. You want it firm, filling that whole space.
And yeah, once it's packed, you cover it up with another dressing. And this part really tells you everything you need to know about the situation. Is medical tape the best? Of course. But will duct tape get the job done? You bet it will. This is all about practical survival, not perfect medicine.
So, bleeding stopped. The wound is clean and packed. You might actually think the worst is over, but now you're fighting enemies you can't even see: infection and shock.
You don't have a pharmacy, so you have to get creative. And it's wild, you know? In a world like this, ancient remedies suddenly become cutting-edge technology. We're talking real honey, not the sugary stuff.
but real honey. It has natural antimicrobial properties. Same goes for crushed garlic. It might sound a little primitive, but smearing some honey on that wound before you dress it could literally be the thing that saves your life.
Now let's talk about shock. Shock is basically your body's massive, system-wide overreaction to the trauma it's just been through. And it is just as deadly as the wound itself. It's a total collapse that can happen even after you think you're in the clear.
You have to be watching for these signs. If you see them, get the person lying down, elevate their legs if you can, and keep them warm. And if you're by yourself, that last one on the list, confusion, that is terrifying. Because if you're trying to check these symptoms on yourself and you realize you're confused, that's a very, very bad sign.
So, we've gone through all the how-tos. Let's just take a quick second to talk about the why. Why does any of this stuff actually work? Because it's not magic, it's just biology.
Look, at the end of the day, you're not a surgeon. You're a facilitator. Your body is already desperately trying to save itself. Your platelets are like these microscopic sandbags trying to build a dam. When you apply pressure, you're just helping them stack up faster. When you pack the wound, you're building that dam from the inside. You're just giving your body the backup it needs to win.
And that's what it all boils down to. This isn't about a perfect, neat recovery. It's about getting through that first critical window. If you can manage this injury for that first hour, your chances basically double. If you can make it through the first day, you've given yourself a real fighting chance to pull through.
After all this, after all these grim, painful steps and makeshift solutions, what's the one thing you should really hold on to from all of this?
And this is it. It's not about a clean recovery. It's not about avoiding a scar. It's about the simple, profound fact that you are still here. The wound is packed, the bleeding is stopped, you are still breathing. In that world, that is a win. You're not done fighting, but you're alive. And that's everything.